this changes everything. Whispers of the Mar-a-Lago Accord are rattling financial circles. The great currency reset could be here, and if it hits, it could flip our world upside down. The US dollar, gold, crypto, even that random asset you forgot you owned, nothing's safe in this scenario. We're going to be diving into what this bombshell means, and by the end, we'll figure out how to brace for this great currency reset that could be afoot. So the Mar-a-Lago Accords, the hottest buzz on the street right now, and it's named after, of course, Donald Trump's Palm Beach pad. Love it. Dreamed up in 2024 paper by Stephen Miron, Trump's pick to head the White House Council of Economic Advisors. This is now getting a megaphone from Jim Bianco, the guy over at Bianco Research LLC. A lot of other people are talking about it as well. And look, it's not a signed deal yet, but the idea is too wild to ignore. First things first, we all know that the USA has a ticking debt time bomb, a monstrous, dizzying, disgusting $36.5 trillion in debt, which is about 123% of GDP, which is a dangerous level. The worst part is that that debt is increasing at a rate, an unbelievable rate of $1 trillion every 100 days. Crazy. And FYI, the US has always carried debt since inception. It's pretty common for countries to do. Debts incurred, for example, during the Revolutionary War amounted to $75 million back in the day. Different times now. But to whom does the US owe the money? Well, during its infancy, the US owed France a lot of money. But now, of course, Uncle Sam's largest creditors are Japan, China, the UK, the Saudis, right? Holders of US debt instruments. Over time, the debt should, of course, earn interest and be returned in full, meaning the interest payments are going to be going through the damn roof. Now, look, shocker, but the creditors do want their money back at some point. But the Mar-a-Lago Accord has a radical fix for this. Now, there was something, by the way, Mar-a-Lago Accords are sort of based on the theory of the Plaza Accord of 1985, when the G5 or Group of Five nations tanked the US dollar to boost US exports, dropping the DXY by 30% by 1987. At the same time, supercharging US exports by 20% in 2 years. Or we had the Bretton Woods Agreement back in 1944, pegging the dollar to gold at $35 an ounce, steady global currencies until it unraveled in 1971. Look, the history of major currency upsets are there. This happened quite a few times. This is nothing new. Now, the Mar-a-Lago Accord's big move, swapping out maturing US debt for longer term ones. Picture this, the bank's hounding you to pay off your loan, but instead of coughing up the cash, you sweet talk them into stretching it out. For the US, that means taking $7 trillion in short-term debt due in 2025 and swapping it for bonds that don't hit for 50 or maybe 100 years. Holy crap. The kicker, interest stays low, maybe zero, tilted in Uncle Sam's favor. Yo, that's some crazy shit. Now, before we get into the rest of the mechanics of this, a real quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is iTrust Capital. Guys, if you want a way to save big on taxes while still playing the crypto game, you might want to find out what iTrust has to offer for you. They allow you to do all the crypto trading for all the top coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Dog with Hat. Okay, they got crazy stuff like that too. You can do as many trades as you want, and you're never gonna hit a taxable event. Crazy, right? They're the biggest crypto IRA provider in the cryptocurrency space, 365, 24/7, unlike, of course, ETF products. And they even let you do in-kind withdrawals, meaning you can custody those coins in your pockets in the future. And if you don't have an IRA set up already, if you don't have a 401k or whatever, they can help you set one up too. Now, if you want to learn more about what they're doing, and by the way, they even let you get gold and silver via the partnership with Kitco, real deal stuff, real metal in your hands. If you want to learn more about how iTrust can potentially help you save long-term on taxes using a retirement structure, link down below in the description. That'll also give you a $100 bonus in setting up your account. So go check it out. Thank you for supporting our sponsors. Now, are you confused about how all of this is actually going to save the USA? How the Mar-a-Lago Accord and extending out the debt is going to save America? Well, here's the deal. Imagine buying a $500,000 house with a 30-year mortgage at 2%. The bank balks, so you pull a Trump card. Pun intended. Agree, or my 100,000 Facebook pals are going to boycott your branch. They cave. You're locked in. $1,600 a month. Sounds steep in 2025, but in 10 or 20 years, guess what? Inflation's turned that $1,600 into, well, much less. Same trick with U.S. debt. Stretch $36.5 trillion over 100 years, and what those $36.5 trillion is actually going to be worth in 100 years, and $1 trillion, it's a rounding error in 2125. Inflation's the secret sauce that erodes money's value over time. But surely, of course, this is all going to be necessary because of taxes, man. Yeah, sure, they help, but debt's the government's real fuel. And the Fed's money printer keeps robbing our purchasing power to make it work. Yes, we're getting absolutely screwed over by debt and by taxes and by inflation all at the same time. It's crazy shit. No wonder people like Bitcoin. So why would Japan, China, or the UK, or others like the Saudis, holding billions of dollars in US treasuries, go along with this bullshit? Well, here's the twist. These top creditors are also the world's biggest borrowers. It's a global debt hot potato situation. Everyone's just passing it around, man, hoping it doesn't blow up on their watch. Everybody's interlinked to each other. But more on that mess on another day. Now, to nudge them, Trump's got options. His go-to tariffs, say 25% tariffs on China, making it brutal for them to export to the US, the world's fattest market. And not having the US as a customer will drive, of course, their economy into a shit show. Or the tastier play, back those long-term bonds with assets that really hold value. Like the US's 8,000 tons of gold. Sweeten the pot a little bit. You'll get gold later on. Interesting. Oh, that shit becomes real interesting then. Now here's where it gets even crazier. Fort Knox and other vaults in the USA stash about 8,100 tons of gold, about $755 billion at today's price of $2,900 an ounce. But what if the US juiced that to say $20,000 an ounce? That's more than $5 trillion right there. A hefty chunk, of course, to back up those 100-year bonds and calm jittery creditors like Japan and China.
But Lark, the BRIC nations already have a lot of gold.
Yeah, they do. But the total for all member countries is just 5,700 tons. It's pretty big, but it's not America size, is it? Plus, if you're going to tell them, yeah, I hold those bonds, you're going to get gold later, they might say, well, that's actually going to be better than holding US currency. So if you're holding some shiny yellow metal, then this accord could be your big payday. But how about us crypto folks? Well, for the first time in history, the US president and the people around him believe in crypto. All the people, whether it be Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, everybody, the new SEC head, CFTC head, they're all Bitcoin people. Would be hard to imagine that maybe, just maybe, the part of the backing could be Bitcoin as well. That would be pretty crazy. Now, maybe we're asking too much. We hope for backing of Bitcoin, but even if they said, hey, it's going to be a basket of currencies, you're going to get gold and silver and some Bitcoin in the future, that'd be pretty crazy. That'd be a precedence that would create not just a ripple, but a tsunami through financial markets. This has the potential to change everything. Now, according to BitBo, the U.S. government currently owns around 207,000 Bitcoin, worth around $18 to $20 billion, depending on when you're watching this. Now, more if, of course, the U.S. decides to buy a bunch of Bitcoin, maybe buy all the Bitcoin produced by U.S. miners, for example, to support the local mining industry. At this point, a $250,000 Bitcoin, or maybe a $500,000 Bitcoin, of course, even the $1 million Bitcoin, it's not just a dream, it becomes a reality. But why stop there? Why not sprinkle the pot with some other cryptocurrencies? Maybe we'll throw some Solana and Ethereum in there. Or maybe we're getting a bit too crazy here. Still, though, even if gold moves to $20,000, that sets off a chain of events because Bitcoin follows gold. You have to understand this. There's a deep correlation between the two. Now, how to prepare for all this? Well, still just a scenario. Stephen Mirren's brainchild, if you will. But remember, he's Trump's pick to lead the White House Council of Economic Advisors, the crew steering U.S. economic policy. If the Mar-a-Lago Accord hits, and there's been a lot of talk that we could see a major currency reset, and if that hits, game over for fiat currency. So my strategy, exit fiat. Have things that hold real value. Gold, Bitcoin, real estate, dividend stocks from good companies, okay? Now look, obviously you still need some money in the world, right? But if this all plays out, the US dollar, the world's biggest fiat Ponzi scheme, could be in for a giant currency reset, which is exactly what we're talking about. Now look, we're not talking about some Venezuela-style hyperinflation kind of bullshit, but a reset of the value of what US debt and US dollars actually look like. So holding Bitcoin, holding gold, all this kind of stuff becomes very attractive in that situation. The governments have forced us all to be gamblers. You can't just hold cash anymore. Okay, it's a melting ice cube. You have to be invested. if you want to outperform or at least hold value. And look, I like gold. Gold's the old school boomer. It's Bitcoin before Bitcoin, okay? I like stocks too. I like dividend stocks, boring shit that just provides 4 or 5% annual dividends. I love that stuff. Property's cool, man. I know, oh, property's so boring. You know what? Something real. Most of you guys have, millions of dollars of meme coins or $1,000 of meme coins. Get some real shit, man. Some properties, right? This is a pretty crazy proposition if it plays out. But neutral assets are probably the most logical play here. Bitcoin, gold, kind of stuff like that, real estate. The decades to come will get real crazy if this actually plays out. So let's see. Do you think the Mar-a-Lago Accords can actually happen? Can Trump actually push through such wild changes? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching.